All right, everybody, welcome back. My name is Pale L Poppy. This is the Top Tier Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Got a lot of topics for y'all this week, man.
Episode 38?
Episode 38.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, man.
Let's get it started. What we got today?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think the thing I want to start with, and probably one of the bigger topics this week, is Rolling Stone released a top 200 singers of all time. We're not talking about 2010s. We're not talking about 2020s. We're talking all time. They were trolling. They were trolling. Like this.
He went straight there.
I'm just saying, this is controversy. This is media manipulation. This is they're literally we're gonna throw some bullshit in there to get people riled up, just so we can get more ad revenue. It's
they definitely
blatant
did that
at this point.
They definitely did it on purpose. And the one that obviously that we're gonna hit on the most is Michael Jackson, because when we were watching it or when we were looking through that list, that was the main one that we were like, they put him over the Michael Jackson. They put her over Michael Jackson. They put who after Michael Jackson? It was some random people that I've never even heard of.
Yeah, man, randos were over Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is 80. It's random ass people.
Yeah.
Or over I won't say they're random ass people, but there are people that they don't
random.
hold a candle to Michael. In comparison to Michael, they're random. Michael, they're random.
So my problem with the list as a whole, obviously the Michael Jackson part of it, but my problem with the list as a whole is the fact that I couldn't understand what they were trying to base everything off of. What was the metric system that they were going based off of? Because some of the people that they put early on, they had Paul McCartney, they had John Lennon, so they had two dudes from the Beatles. Yeah, I mean, she was top 50, I think. She was top maybe 70, but still she's above Michael. So it's just I don't know if they were going based off of legend status, your body of work over time, or if they were going based off the power of your voice, because they had Beyonce there, and Beyonce kind of categorizes both. She fits in both categories.
She's in the top 20, but I don't know, man.
I think she was 6. She was top 10.
She was something high, yeah.
But they had people in there Smokey Robinson was a top 20, top 15. And, Smokey Robinson is Smokey Robinson. I have nothing to say about him. But over Michael Jackson, over Elton John, I was just confused with some of that shit. You were upset about Sade. She was
Sade,
what, 50?
She was high, dude. I think she was 50, 60 something.
Which is a good spot, but I don't know. Some of that stuff, and then, Rolling Stone is the same people that have said things like Harry Styles is the new king of pop, which
Celine
is just
Dion.
Blasphemous. Yeah, Celine Dion got left off the list. Talk about that.
Yeah, man. People were outside of a Rolling Stone office protesting the list.
I saw
and they
that.
posted it. Man, if we do a clip of this, we're gonna put up the picture, put up the tweet. They put up a tweet of SpongeBob creeping his eyes out the window.
Oh yeah.
That's them looking out the window at all the people.
Because they know what they're doing. They did that on purpose, bro. There's no way in hell Celine Dion isn't on that list, but they had some fucking random people on there. And no disrespect to any of them, because if they even, able to be brought into people's minds when you're thinking of the top 200 ever, then they probably are deserving of being on that list. But there was people that were just left off the list that I was just huh? How could you do that to some of these people? I wonder what the artists think about when they when The Weeknd sees that list and sees that he was placed above Michael Jackson. He probably just scoffs and just fucking laughs. There's no way that you believe that shit.
We have to fact check this one, because I'm was The Weeknd actually above Michael?
Yes, dude. The Weeknd was above Michael Jackson. I'm pretty sure we said The Weeknd before we said Michael Jackson. You can fact check it before.
I have to
sound
and we
stupid,
can cut this out, but I'm just Weeknd.
We don't have to cut it. This is live action fact checking. I have no problem being wrong.
He was 110, so he was Michael's higher.
Okay.
Michael's higher. But The Weeknd shouldn't be 110. I'm sorry. We're talking about all time.
Yeah,
we're talking about all time.
Another thing I was saying, I want to know if you agree with this. Another thing I was saying was, I don't think besides Ariana Grande, because she actually has fucking pipes. Okay, let's not get it confused. She actually has pipes. She can blow. I don't think anybody post 2010s besides Ariana Grande should be on that list.
I agree. Me personally, I don't know anybody post 2010s other than probably Ariana that should be on that list.
Because
Billie Eilish was 198.
Yeah.
Let's stop the cap right now. Let's stop the bullshit right now. SZA was high. SZA
No,
shouldn't even be on the
low.
list.
She was kind of low. She was in the hundreds and something.
Well, I mean low. I meant low. Yeah, SZA was low, but she shouldn't even be on the list.
No, bro,
Like,
no.
now I gotta look
She
up.
shouldn't. The woman has had 2 albums. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, or maybe 3. I don't know if Z was a studio album. I don't know if that was a studio album or if that was just like a mixtape, quote unquote. But if that is an album, then she's had 3. But still, 3 albums compared to some of those people that have like a whole 20 years of a body of work. I'd rather than put some of those random people, like they had like some international acts on there that we had never heard of. But it's like I can't say anything about that because I've never heard them. So if they're regarded in this fashion, that means that they probably have some success. Like, just because I don't know them doesn't mean anything. But I don't think that SZA is a top 200. A top
But I think
200?
Definitely it's not raw technical ability. And maybe that's not what they were going for. But this list is clearly not technical ability. I think this list is technical ability, discography, length of discography, influence, and maybe
Influence,
even like long-term influence. Because some of these guys, like SZA, that's influence, period. Like in terms of
She
like
has
the last
clout
5
for
years,
now.
she has a high name. I'm not saying it's technical ability, but she has high clout for now. You're right. We're talking all time. It's still blasphemy though.
And another thing about that is like, because she just released an album that's like super, super successful right now. I think she's been #1 album for like the last 3 weeks or something. She's breaking records. Like that's the first time that an R&B female act has been top 1 for like a certain amount of weeks in like years, right? Probably like since Whitney Houston or like Mariah Carey or Beyonce or something like that, right? So they're able to put her on like the headline of the Rolling Stone Top 200. Look at SZA, look at The Weeknd. You could put them on that list and that brings eyes, that brings traffic. So I get that, because we were saying that throughout it, like they politicking. They politicking with that one.
Billie Eilish was like, I don't know, man. I don't know about that. All time?
I already said what I said.
All time.
I don't want the Billie Eilish fans to come at me because I already got the SZA fans that are gonna come at me. I don't want Billie Eilish.
Listen, I'm not saying they're not bad singers by any stretch of the imagination, but all time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's like,
yes.
If we talking basketball and you talking about like Patrick Beverly is a Hall of Fame builder, he's on the list, and like people will look at you like. People will look at you.
Are you saying
like,
that Billie Eilish is comparable to Patrick Beverly?
Well, you
is
in the
that
league?
A proper comp?
I think it's fair because you got to be pretty damn good to get in the league, but you're not a Hall of Famer.
I feel like
you got to be pretty damn good.
I feel like you should preface that statement by saying that you don't. Really
I don't know shit about basketball. I don't know shit about basketball
because they gonna tear your ass up for that one. I'm gonna be honest.
That's the funny one. But for the fans, just know I love trolling. Like I've known the chosen one for many years, and they would just be talking about basketball, and I would just come troll. I would just come say like ridiculous shit. I would just take the 5% I know about basketball.
What did you say the other day? You got me. You got a reaction out of me. What did you say the other day? We were playing a game, and you said something. I forget what you said, but you got a reaction out of me.
Dude, I know. I completely forgot, but it was so
all the
dumb.
time, man. Do that all the time. But yeah, we're not the biggest sports guy. I mean, I watch like my fair share of sports. I watch NBA primarily. I might watch a little bit of NFL. And speaking of NFL, because we have some sports topics, we don't really cover. We're not a sports-centric podcast, but we do cover a little bit of sports topics here and there. So I think that the biggest story from this week's sport related, obviously, is Damar Hamlin. So I think we should acknowledge that. First of all, if you guys haven't heard, the man fell into cardiac arrest on the field during a football game, nationally televised football game. That's like probably like the first time in history that's ever happened. A man had to be revived on the football field. So I just want to give a round of applause for the fact that the man is like up, he's conscious and seemingly getting better as the days progress.
Soldiering through.
Yeah, because there's like a few things that we're going to talk about here, but I just wanted to make sure I got that out of the way. The fact that the human being that was on the field is doing better, and everybody's been super, super supportive. Because one of the topics we were going to talk about, which way do you want to go with it? You want to talk about the NFL first, or you want to talk about Skip Bayless? Because Skip Bayless, man, he needs to get some heat.
That's the big one for this one. I think we should start with Skip because NFL is always on some bullshit, so we already know.
That's true.
But I think Skip is the one everybody's talking about.
Skip Bayless, because I had to show you a little bit. I had to walk you through the history a little bit of Skip Bayless's antics, because it's been he sent out a tweet like the day that happened, probably like a few minutes after that happened, maybe like 10 minutes after that happened. And his tweet, which he then tried to walk back afterwards and make it seem like he was talking about Damar Hamlin's health and safety. The original tweet that he sent was putting precedent on the priority of the game, prioritizing the game rather than prioritizing the safety and the health, making sure that this man who was just revived, I believe they spent like 10 minutes reviving this man. Instead of focusing on that, he decided to focus on the playoff implications that the game had. And I'm just like, bro, that's just another thing to add to the list of Skip Bayless just being a complete jackass.
Like it's and another problem I had with Skip is like, what's like he should have sent back to back. Like he should have, if he was gonna say that, right? Fine.
Yeah.
But then he should also said, but like, my condolences to his family and his health. Don't try to walk it back when they get in your ass. Because it doesn't feel genuine.
They went all the way up.
It feels corporate. It feels like, I gotta send out a fake apology. Because they got in his ass.
Yeah, all the players, all the people on social media, like ordinary citizens. So what he ended up doing after he sent that secondary tweet is the next day on his show, Undisputed, he decided to give an opening monologue where he kind of addressed the tweet and kind of gave like, I don't know, like some type of, what's an expression I can use for a fake apology? Because it wasn't a real apology.
People are saying he was forcing crocodile tears in the comments.
Right, because he does
like a backhanded, like sorry not sorry, like a sorry not sorry.
Exactly. I'm not like, going to take the tweet
down.
Kind
of forced to apologize, but I'm not going to take it down. I'm going to stand on it.
But that's the thing, like, because you just said like it felt corporate the way that he went about it, and then at the same time it's like he's addressing it now and kind of giving an apology for it and like at least taking accountability for what he said, but. Then the following day after that, his partner, his co-host on the show, Shannon Sharpe, who, by the way, is a Hall of Famer. Like, this man is no joke. He's not to play with. He's him, okay? He took the day off the previous day. I don't want to say take the day off, but he missed the show the day before because this is a first in history. Like, this is a serious situation. So he's showing his support in that way. Shannon Sharpe then comes on the show the next day and gives his opening monologue and wants to, instead of focusing on Skip Bayless's jackassery, if that's a word, decides to talk about Damar Hamlin as the individual that we should all be worried about. And here comes Skip. I'm sorry. I'm not taking down the tweet. Why do you have a problem with the tweet? Has to insert himself. And I'm just like, so I wanted to say all that to say, like, after he said that, those things and interjected in Skip's monologue, he said that the bosses of the show actually didn't tell him to have an opening monologue, which he apologized and took accountability for the tweets. So is the flack on Skip Bayless? Obviously, for his tweets, that's his problem.
Yeah,
he needs to take accountability for him.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't the bosses of Fox be like, nah, we have a problem with that. Like, you should probably walk back that shit. Like, we don't want that shit coming to us.
I'm assuming they agree with whatever he's saying. If they didn't agree with whatever he's saying, or if the heat is not hot enough for them, they're not gonna tell him to walk it back.
But isn't that weird that? And I understand like it's a talent thing, so you can always get a different athlete to come on your show and be paired with Skip Bayless or whatever. Skip Bayless is probably the draw. But why would you, knowing that knowing that Shannon Sharpe missed the show purposely because he wanted to show support to Damar Hamlin and not be on the side of Skip Bayless and not align himself with that narrative? Why would you choose Skip over choosing Shannon? Do you see what I'm saying there?
I know. I see what you're saying. Nice. I see. I mean, like you said, we could go one way with it. I'm not going to go that way. Mm-hmm. But, the one way I'm thinking we can talk about now is that, like you said, Skip is the draw. If he's the front man, they're not going to question the front man.
Because now there's that tension. And I'm sure you've seen it. We watched the video together. Now there's that tension where now you have two co-hosts that maybe, and we don't really know their past. We don't really know, their relationship behind the cameras. But now you have a tension where it's like, I'm a football player. This is my family over here, right? I support my family. I'm an NFL Hall of Famer. So I'm gonna cape for every single football player that walks that field. You know what I'm saying? Especially the ones that are dealing with the things that Damar Hamlin and his family are dealing with, right? So I'm obviously going to be on this side of the fence when it comes to this topic. But now it seems like the bosses are almost taking Skip's side by saying he doesn't need to account for any of that shit. Like we didn't even make him have to take accountability. It's just weird to me. It's just weird to me. Cuz Skip is not the draw. Skip is maybe the most popular guy, but Shannon Sharpe makes the show. And we all know that. We all know that. It's just weird to me. And then he tried to sun him. We all seen that clip too where he tried to sun him.
Yeah. And he has a history. Like when we were talking about this off stream and we were going over the topic, there's like clips of him in the past. I don't remember this player's name, but he was trying to sun this guy. Richard Sherman. He was trying to sun. He seems to have a pattern where he has to be the top dog. He has to sun you. He thinks he knows better than you, and you're not on the field. You didn't work your whole life to get into that career. You didn't build the relationships on the field. You don't have that relationship with the game and the people you're playing with and that sportsmanship. He just sounds like he seems like a clown. Like he does
sound like a clown, and I'm glad he's being called out as a clown. Like we said in the beginning when we were talking about this. Excuse me. All the athletes are fucking getting in his ass because it is valid. Because this man, I don't think this man has ever touched. He probably has never been on any type of sports team. I don't know his history all the way back to when he's high school. He's an old ass fucking man. Mm-hmm. This man is probably like in his 60s or something. I don't give a fuck about Skip Bayless like that. But at least he never talks about his history of being on a sports team. You know what I mean? Like at least because Stephen A. for ESPN will say certain things about like I'm critical of athletes and this and that, but at least I have some experience being a collegiate athlete. You know what I mean? At least I'm coming from somewhere of experience. Who the fuck is Skip Bayless besides some dude that used to write for some? I'm irritated with Skip, bro. I've been hating Skip.
Is Skip a nepotism baby? I don't know how that just popped in my head.
I don't know. That's actually a good question.
That's a good question. Is he just because like what are when he was talking to Richard Sherman, and Richard Sherman was like, I'm elite in my field. You're just like some dude. Like, can you really say you're elite in this sports medium, this sports?
He was like, I'm better at life than you.
He tried to sun him, and Richard Sherman was like, "But like, you're not really doing it the same. Like, are they talking about you in the same light they're talking about me?" Yeah. I mean, you've been around for a couple of years. You're on a popular show, but like, are you really the elite in that field?
He's been around for a while, though. He's been around for a while.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not. He probably's up there, but like, is he the Pat Bev? Like, you got to be good to get in. You got to be good to get in, but is he Pat Bev?
I think that there's a thing, and I know that like, a lot of our audience they hate when we go racial with it, but I think there's a thing where you get these average type of white dudes where it's easy for you to just keep them in that position. Because we're going to talk about Dana White next. It's easy for these dudes that like have a certain type of exterior. I'll say it that way, so we don't get too racial. There's a difference between the exteriors, right? So it's like Dana White is caught on camera, on a holiday, fucking slapping the shit out of his wife, and they covered that story up. I haven't seen anything. Obviously, we've seen the clips
it's like the cover-up's intense, man. When the Ray Rice shit went down, I can't tell you how many times I saw the punches, dude. Like, I swear to God. First time I saw it, my jaw dropped. But like
Jay-Z and Solange, like we seen that.
Oh moment. My God. When anything happens to a black athlete, black entertainer, that shit is every fucking where.
It doesn't even have to be caught on camera. If it's an accusation, they gonna talk about that shit and blow it the fuck up. One of the things that we said, a little critical thinking here, one of the things we said just that connects is a little bit of an equivalent is, if you guys remember a couple months back in, I think that was like November, maybe, Kyrie Irving had his situation, right? Where he said all that anti-Semitic shit. And then in the NBA, they made sure that they were asking all of the top athletes, right? But the ones that we saw speaking the most vocal, the clips that we saw being shared the most were from black athletes. Not from Jewish athletes, not from the people that he accosted, but just from his peers. But we're mainly black athletes, right? And so LeBron James, when the Jerry Jones situation happens, if you guys remember that, because that's kind of the similar topic. The Jerry Jones situation was covered for a little bit of time. You know what I mean? If you guys remember, was covered for like a week, maybe.
And that had
They
much
some
more coverage, I
conversations.
said, than Dana.
Definitely. But the level that it was covered amongst his peers was not the same. Why aren't you guys asking the peers? Why aren't you guys asking the NFL owners what they think about Jerry Jones? You see what I'm saying? So you see things like the Dana White situation happen, and if you put any other person in his shoes, and I wanted to say, if you were to put, like, for example, like a Magic Johnson when he was an owner of the Dodgers, if you were to put any other owner, any other black owner, or a person of color who happens to be an owner in that situation, because of their exterior, I just feel like it's going to be handled differently. That's just my personal opinion.
And I agree. And we're not going to get too deep. We already know you guys going to be in the comments. You made it racial. You made it. Why'd you make it about race?
They don't like when we go racy. But
and my thing about that is
critical thinking.
We live in a country that was literally built on race, and it wasn't black folks who built it on race. But now you guys are crying when we point out a legacy of this nonsense going on. You guys want to cry about us making it racial, and y'all made it racial first, and you still make it racial. But we're not gonna put
a little thought behind it. Just gotta put a little thought behind it. We're gonna get it off it. We're gonna get off it
because we're not gonna go.
Where do you want to go next? Where do you want to go next?
I really want to get into the Dr. Love, so we're gonna get a picture of him on the screen. The Dr. Love dude. We've been seeing him since we were in high school. I swear to God.
Oh my God.
And for those who don't know Dr. Love, the Dr. Love dude, he's like this kid. He's not a kid anymore, but he was a kid who would impersonate being a doctor. And he's done it like several times and goes to jail. And then it just seems like he gets out and just goes right back to doing it. So we got into an argument. I want you guys to talk about it in the comments, whether on the podcast comments or the clip comments or the short comments. I want you guys to get in there and talk about, do your research on him, look this guy up, and tell me, because we have an argument where it's like, I'm like, this guy's mentally ill. He has to have some kind of personality disorder. Nobody willingly tries to go to jail, and I don't know how he's getting away with it. It almost seems like he's like doing it for like a week, like a period of time, and then they catch him. I'm like, well, how the fuck is he forging the documents? Like, how is he that? Like, how does he keep getting away with it?
I think this time he got arrested because he was being fraudulent at his current job that he had. He was, I think he was like fixing the numbers, the account numbers. So businesses were sending him money to his personal accounts, not to the accounts of the company that he worked for. So in my opinion, you said it was mental illness. In my opinion, this nigga is just a scammer. This nigga needs to be selling courses when he gets out of jail about how to scam the system, my guy. That's what it seems like to me. You don't see it that way?
That makes sense. With that context, then it makes you wonder if he's a scammer. But like his prior dealings of pretending to be a doctor, he did it so consistently. I can only think the dude's mentally ill. Why can't it not be both? But when I hear that both, now,
yeah, it should be and not or. You're right.
But I'm on the opinion he's mentally ill, and maybe he decided, you know what, being a doctor isn't worth it. But I'm gonna just scam. I'm gonna be a scamming
has
dude.
Some entrepreneurial
swipe
spirit,
story.
Yo.
For those who don't know what swipe story is,
what's that? I never
Detroit.
Heard of that.
This Detroit rapper, it's like cornball dude. I think his name was like TJX9 or something like that. Okay. And he's like all his music is about being a credit card scammer, and it's like the corniest. It's funny. It's like comedy rap, but it's like I think he's dead ass though. But that's what I'm thinking is like, is he trying to impersonate TJX69 now? Like you a swiping dude, a swiping rapper?
That's a
credit card fraud dude.
This nigga has some talent at scamming, yo. He needs to be like, he can make. You remember who was that dude? Who was that dude that made like a series of Vines? I don't know if it was Vines or TikToks or if it was YouTube videos. But he was a scammer. Remember, he would wear the big fur coat. What's his name, yo? You know what I'm talking about? Mm-mm. His whole brand was that he was a scammer. I forget the name that it was called, but he needs to do something like that, bro. If Dr. Love got on fucking TikTok, it was making videos about how to scam and just like made it like a parody. Like his life is a parody. He's just a scammer and he gets in trouble for it all the time. That shit will boat. That shit would go.
Hilarious.
I would watch that shit.
Yeah. Like little TikTok little skits.
You know he was on the PPP shit. You know he was on
You already know he was on it. Yeah. There's no way he wasn't.
I can learn something from this.
That's probably one of the charges. That's probably one of the charges, man.
I've always wondered, like, why would people want to be a scammer instead of just go getting the fucking job?
Well, I don't know, man. Fast money. You know, like I watched this movie.
But you gonna
might
go to
have
jail
seen it.
though. You gonna get caught.
I watched this movie about that. It's called Emily the Criminal. It's on. It's got big on Netflix. But anyway, like in the movie, she was like a college student, but like she had I guess she had an assault case in college, and they just never let her get a job, so she could only work fast food, and other stuff. And she was like, she met this dude, and he was like, "Hey man, I hear these fake credit cards. Go in Best Buy, buy a fuckload of TVs, take them to another Best Buy, return it for clean cash."
Right.
Exactly.
And exactly.
She like it turns into like a big thing. I'm like, damn. But if you're getting that fast money, I mean, you're making $10K in a week.
That just sounds like a job. I'm sure that
Some
they
people
can flip
think it's
that
worth
shit.
it.
Flip that knowledge, front. Like I
Some
don't
people
know.
think
I
it's
would be
worth
the
it.
connect on the
It's
knowledge.
not worth
I
it
wouldn't
to
be
me.
trying to do it.
I can't go to jail. Now I definitely think I'm Pisces. I'm mutable. Like I'm adaptable. Like I think if knock on wood, but if I went to prison, I feel like I would be like a thug. Like I would adapt. Like I definitely think I would start off soft, but I would harden quick. But some people can't.
Like that movie Get
But
Hard.
it's not worth it.
Pause.
I don't know. I don't know about get hard.
You would get hard enough.
No, I will not get hard in prison. I'll be running for anything that tries to get hard because I'm from like the booty warrior, you know? Like,
Exactly. Oh man, that shit is funny. Who is that nigga that you was talking about? The rapper? TJ what?
T-Jax X. I'm gonna look it up. His name is TJ. We should watch. It would be hilarious if we reacted to it because I want to show you a video.
Is he better than Andrew Tate though? He got bars better than Andrew Tate though.
I would rather. His name is T-E-E-J-A-X-Y. Sorry, Jayx6. I don't know why it's like I'm fucking it up. You can cut that out. Yeah, T-Jax. I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you. We can cut some of this out. But yeah, his name is T-Jax6. Someone showed me him in college. Like we were all high as hell. And it was just a meme. It was like, bro, just put this dude on. It's so funny. He is so funny, bro. I have to show you at least one video. It's called Swipe Story. We're not on Discord. So actually, no, I can share my screen. We should try. Okay. We can cut some of this out.
We don't have to. Just go with the flow. I wanted to know if does he have better bars than Andrew Tate though?
I think he does. I think he does, bro. Because Andrew Tate is garbage, bro. We were watching Andrew Tate music videos before we got on to record, and Andrew Tate, I'm not gonna lie, has some bars here and there. He can find a pocket. I'm just saying. Yeah.
The man had a little bit of bars. You don't agree?
Nah, bro. I thought he had like a couple. Don't get me wrong. I think of a different rapper with a different voice. Took some of the bars. It would have sounded cool. But a lot of it was corny.
Put Drake
on
the track.
A lot of it was corny. I just can't. It was corny. Like, dude's not a rapper. Like, this shit was corny. Nah.
He's not a rapper.
Like, rap is really easy to be a corny rapper. That's why too many of these dudes should not be rappers. Like, I feel like you have to have a very specific voice, very specific flow. Like, everything is highly trained to be a rapper, or it just sounds corny. You can't
it's art. It's an art style. It's an art style. It's not just like anything you can learn it though, but it definitely is an art style. You gotta have a brand behind it. Andrew Tate, we forgot to talk about him last week, bro. I cannot believe we just forgot. Andrew Tate is not on my mind ever. And the one time that he actually had, the one time
I see him, I see the incel culture around him, I can't get on it.
The incel culture is Andrew
I see the incel culture around him, I can't get on it.
Is Andrew Tate considered like a red pill guru? Is he on that level?
He is like the red pill guru. I really believe Andrew Tate filled the vacuum that Kevin Samuels left and like took it to an extreme.
Is it that deep? Seriously?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, he gone now.
Rest in peace.
He gone now.
Kev, rest in peace. I don't speak ill of the dead, but like, I think Andrew Tate like came at a time where it was just like, because like Kevin, I know it's like more of a black community thing. Like I'm sure there's like white manosphere figures that are like, you know, and Andrew Tate's like white passing. He has. We're gonna get into that, but anyway, like I think we didn't know he was black. That vacuum. Yeah, we were doing research on Andrew, and we didn't know his dad was black. And his dad was like lighter skin. His dad was probably half black, but like. He's
Andrew
like a quarter
Tate
black.
is a nigga.
Like, he's black. I'm like that.
Andrew Tate is a nigga. I did not know this. He is extremely
like what's her name? There's an artist. Fuck. She's what's her name? There's another artist. She's white passing too, like in the same kind of vein. Like you would not believe it.
You talking about Halsey?
We're gonna put it up on the screen. Halsey, yes, it's Halsey. Halsey. Mm-hmm. It's like kind of like the Halsey situation. It's the same.
Because I've never heard Andrew Tate once say anything that would reference his blackness. Do you think it's because he understands that his image would kind of be, I don't want to use the word tarnished, but he would lose an audience. That's what I'll say.
Yeah,
he would lose a corner of his audience.
He's making a play because he probably doesn't even identify as black. He probably identifies as a white man, and that's cool. That's what you identify as, man. I'm gonna address you as that. Yeah. But like he understands the world. He understands society.
Yeah.
Who's not going to? Like, let's just be honest. Like, he's close enough that he's like, it's probably a smarter play to do that. Most people are going to look at me and see a white man, for the most part.
Dude, we did so much research on him today. We did so much. I didn't realize
his father
that
was a chess savant. His father said he's like a chess guru.
He has a fucking sister. He has a black sister. I thought the sister looked blacker than him. You thought she didn't really look. You thought she looked kind of the same.
She kind of looked like Meghan Markle, kind of like, you know what I mean. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Meghan Markle still passes. Like she can pass in certain, but you know, you up with I think Meghan the elites, the royal family, going to say you black girl, you black.
I think Meghan passes less than Andrew Tate's sister though. Me personally. Okay. Meghan doesn't pass as much. I think Meghan, you can look at her and definitely see there's some African in there.
It's the hair, yo. You can't hide them locks.
You would wonder if she was like maybe Indian, like a little Indian, or like
I suppose. But you still see the melanin. Like, even in the Tates, you can still see the melanin. Mm-hmm. Andrew Tate got wrecked though. He got wrecked. Yeah. So we were doing a little bit of research on it because we wanted to make sure that he was even charged. Because a lot of the headlines was just like showing, you know, Andrew Tate arrested or whatever, Andrew Tate detained. But I wanted to make sure that he was actually charged. So this man is most likely going to go down because they actually have investigations that were already going on beforehand. Like, there's a lot of shit that's coming up. There's a lot of dirt that's coming up about Andrew Tate in his past.
Yeah, I mean, apparently they're saying that, well, right now we know that he was charged with human trafficking charges. His cars are being seized. I'm sure probably eventually a lot of his property is being seized.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah.
They're going to RICO him.
Or he's getting RICO right now. But yeah, that's what I understand right now. And that he was in Romania and that they figured out where he was because he posted a response video to Greta Thunberg. Is that her name? I don't know how to say her last name. Thunberg posted a response video to her, and the pizza box gave information that was relevant to the police on where his
that is fucking crazy, yo. That is fucking crazy. I eat pizza all the time. Like sometimes I just wonder, like, I don't know. Sometimes I just wonder. You know what's funny about that is because he was human trafficking, right? I'm gonna sound a little stupid right here because it's probably a false correlation. But what the fuck was Pizzagate? Like, wasn't that like some type of human trafficking thing?
I thought Pizzagate was that. I guess there was like an email. Was it a Hillary? This is ignorant, guys. This is all off dome. Just let you know. I don't
follow
know much
a lot
about
of political.
All I know about Pizzagate is that apparently there was some kind of email that was leaked by, was it some Democrat in Congress, something about pizza, like pizza or something. And I guess somehow the QAnoners or these crazy people said this is the meeting location of the pedophile cabal or some shit like that. So they were like harassing like this like local police, this local pizza business because they thought this is where the elites meet up.
Oh, so it was like fake
sex
shit?
Traffic.
It wasn't even a real conspiracy? It's just like some fake QAnon shit?
Yeah, some guy like pulled up with a gun to them and was like, I'm pretty sure that happened. So this pizza business.
I thought there was like truth to that, but I guess not. Shit. So Andrew Tate is gone. Who's going to take his place?
Well, it depends on how long he's gone, but I don't know, man. I don't be surprised if you see another Tate, a guy who just takes the Tate playbook and just cranks it. I don't know what it is right now, but it just seems like there's a lot of like impressionable, like I would say like 15 to our age that are like really into this manosphere, maybe even a little older, probably like 15 to 30.
Could be
people who are just into this manosphere, like.
And I will admit, dude, a lot of those videos, and not even just
yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, a lot of these videos, I'm not gonna cap, okay? I do not agree with the message of most of this shit, but a lot of those videos are fucking entertaining. Like, I got on a little bit of a rabbit hole, and I was watching an Andrew Tate video that led to a Brittany Renner video, and the common link between those was this girl named like Pearl. or something like that. She's like some little white chick, and she lives in London or some shit. And she's like, she's probably that, because I was going to ask you that question so I could give you my answer, because I think that she's most likely going to give us a different variation of that red pill manosphere shit, because it's going to be coming from a woman. So that's her edge. She
That's
has a
big
completely
right now.
different, yeah. I don't think there's any other woman who's like in the red pill space on that level. She's getting thousands, hundreds of thousands of views on her YouTube videos.
Nah, man, I've seen a lot of people who are like really on that like female version of manosphere. They just say exactly what they want to. They say exactly what the men want to hear who are in that community. And
Yeah, that's what she does.
Yeah, you're the ideal woman, and they just throw money at them. Like that's the grift right now. I swear to God.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of channels. I'm trying to think of her name, but it's a channel. She has like a couple 100,000 subscribers, and she just goes. Like I think she's Afro Latina, and she just like she had like a Andrew Tate video where she was like, he's a male role model. I was like, this is grifting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I kind of watched some of her videos. I was like, I agree with a lot of what she's saying, but like when she got to the Andrew Tate shit, I was like, all right, this is some grifting shit.
Yeah.
This is like she know these dudes want to just hear her just say certain shit, and she's like, all right, let's get this money.
Definitely.
I can't get behind when it comes to Andrew. Most of these Manosphere dudes, some of them are like really cool. Like they're not really on that misogynist shit. They're just kind of like men. You gotta just tighten up and learn, talk to people, whatever.
Yeah.
But like most of these dudes, they just appeal to the incel, just talking misogyny, ridiculous, crazy. It's most of them.
And niggas be believing that shit. They eat that shit up.
Some of them really be on some real shit, but like a lot of kicking real game. But a lot of them just be talking.
Sometimes you might hear like some anecdotal clip where it's like, oh, men should do this and women should be like this or whatever, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I can see that. I can see the justification in that. But most of the time, that shit is coming from a place of ignorance, evil, and misogyny and sexism. So I don't even get behind a lot of that stuff. I can't co-sign
the ones I'm talking about, most of their channel is about kicking advice to men specifically. They're not running around blaming women. They're not running around saying a woman needs to do this. They're just like, man, you need to tighten up. You got to step up your style. You got to go to certain, maybe you haven't found the right crowd. You got to get your body together. You got to get your hygiene. You got to get your money up.
Yeah, that sounds like
that's like 95%. Exactly. That's like 95% of what they talk about. And some of the stuff will be, but like that's most of what they're talking about. Andrew Tate dudes, they just be talking bullshit.
They need to have that Just Pearl girl or whatever. I wonder if she's gonna have Gabrielle Union on here, because Gabrielle Union has some things to say on a podcast. I guess she's going around doing podcasts now. She should go on that show, that Just Pearl shit, because she says some things. What she say? What she say about?
She basically, though the headlines make it look really bad, but basically what she said, that she felt justified cheating in her previous relationship before she got with Dwayne Wade because she paid all the bills. She paid all the bills, and I don't. When I looked at the headline, I was like, "That's some scumbag shit. That's some Jada Pinkett shit."
That
bro. Like,
sounds like
it sounded so bad, bro.
That somebody like Andrew Tate would say. That's how I took it.
I hear it all the time.
We get
Kevin
a little.
Samuels used to say that. I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. I think
If
we
you're
get
a high
little
value
delusional.
man.
We get a little bit delusional when it comes to some of these perspectives, I'll say, when it comes to relationships, because we have to understand that a lot of this stuff isn't gender exclusive. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times it's just like, because men, there is a patriarchy in place. So a lot of these men will be, they will rise to the top of a lot of these industries, like a red pill. I don't know if you can call that an industry, but a lot of these sectors, right?
Is.
But there probably are people on the opposite sex, from the opposite sex, that are saying the same exact shit in their own way. If that makes any sense, you know what I'm saying? Right. I think that a lot of times we try to do that gender battle. That's super popular now. We talk about that a lot on this show, where it's just like this gender battle where everybody's just trying to pick a side and say like, oh, I'm a woman, so it's okay for women to be like this. Or it's like, I'm a man, so it's okay for men to be like this. And it's just like, this is the one time on earth I'll probably ever say this, but like, where's the moderate? Like,
it's extremes. We live in a time of extremes. Everything
exactly.
It's just this binary.
That's a good way of saying
either you're this or that. If you're in the middle, you're just a fence sitter. And that's in politics. That's like gender war. That's like It almost feels like most people don't ever want to meet in the middle on anything. Either
Right.
you're in it or you're not.
Yeah, because a lot of stuff, it is kind of like, it does seem like there's a right answer. What do you think about this, though? Like, because the point that she said isn't bad. The only part that's negative about it is the fact that she felt that she was entitled to cheating. But if you guys actually don't read the headline and go and listen to the interview as we did, she was really saying, she prefaced it by saying that at least what I interpreted it as is that she said that they were in an open relationship.
And then see, they're not gonna frame it that way because they want her to look bad.
Did you get that interpretation, or did you just?
That's the
it seem like they
interpretation
were just
I got
saying-
from it.
Yeah, exactly. It was either that they were in an open relationship, or
Because they had no,
they were cheating on each other.
They had no
anyway.
type of connection. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
they had no connection. She said when she went to like marriage counseling, the therapist was like, I don't even know how y'all made it past the first date or two.
Right.
Y'all have nothing in common. You guys share no values. Somehow it's like you guys stumbled into marriage. If I was be honest with you, I think you guys should just move your way out of this relationship. Call it quits. Because it's you know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of like the relationship. There was no relationship to begin with. You know, if you get that context from it. But her, it doesn't sound, it's still technically cheating. But they both probably didn't care, you know? But the way she framed it makes herself look pretty bad. And of course the media ran with it.
Yeah, there's just no place for cheating in a relationship, period. Because if it was an open relationship, that's the other thing, right? Because that's the interpretation that I got from it, because she probably set it up like that on purpose. But in reality, if it was an open relationship, she wouldn't say that she was cheating.
That's true. So technically, I guess it was an open relationship. So she was, or she felt justified to cheat. Did she cheat? Was that explicitly
That's what
stated?
she said. That's what she said. She said she was cheating.
Okay.
Another thing that she said that I thought was interesting, that I don't really want to talk about it in the sense of Gabrielle Union's life, but another thing that she said was that she felt like at that time that she needed to be validated by certain types of men. What do you think that means? Because that sounded exactly when we were watching it. The thing I said was, that sounds a lot like what Brittany Renner just recently said. And people said that she's doing a rebrand and she's grifting, but she said the same thing, which is like, for a while during my younger years, probably the same age as Gabrielle Union, she was saying that she felt like she needed to get attention and validation from certain types of men, quote unquote. That's the words that they use.
Maybe it's the high value man. Maybe it's the.
And that's what you said. You thought it was high value.
I don't doubt that she still doesn't want a high value man. So maybe we're misinterpreting the kind of man she's looking for. Because in Gabrielle's case, if she's paying the bills, the dude is not high value. He's just not.
That's weird, right? That's why I was trying to say, like, what does that mean? Like, what is that type of man? Maybe that's just in her case.
They have their different interpretation. We don't know what their personal interpretation of high value is.
Probably.
Maybe they have to be rich as a default, but there's other qualities and other status things they're looking for that makes them the type of men they want validation from. We won't really know.
Do men look for validation in women? What kind of validation do men look for?
I think the validation, especially when we were younger, but to a lesser degree now, is like dudes want to run around and run about. I've been with her. Body count. It's like it's raw numbers. You know what I mean? Like it's like you want to be seen as a dude who gets a lot of women, who gets
sexy regularly enough to fuck. Is it about fucking or is it just about getting attention?
I think it's just about fucking. I think it's about fucking.
Yeah, because with women, it's like they just want like numbers in their phone. You know what I mean? They just want text coming in. Some women, other women probably do want sex. Other women probably want to be seen with the men that are high ballers, high rollers. You know what I'm saying? Like men, I don't think men necessarily look for validation in the sense where it's like, I want women to talk to me. I just want women to talk to me. I don't think it's like that. I just want women to text me. I don't have any numbers in my phone. I don't think men really think that way. Because men have a different mindset. It probably is what you were saying, where it's just like, we just want to fuck. That's our validation. Exactly. Like, I'm hot enough to get some ass.
Exactly. And decent looking, and maybe not even decent looking.
Do we? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we care about decent looking, some of us, bruh.
Some dudes, you get thirsty enough, you're going to do what you got to do.
Enough. They're not thirsty, it's desperate. Because they be calling niggas that get pussy, like, they call it Drake thirsty. So we always talking about Drake. I always bring up Drake, huh? I always talking about Drake. But they call niggas that get all the ass, they call them thirsty because they get ass. So I don't know. It's probably just desperation on that point, because you have some stories you've been told. I don't know if you want to share them on the podcast, but you have stories of people that that be hiding, putting bags over people's heads and shit, walking them down the hallway.
Oh yeah, nah, I'm not gonna get. Well, I do got a story.
You don't have to share it if the guy listens, because I don't want him to get. I don't want you to get.
We ain't homies. We ain't cool in any stretch of the imagination. Not even a little bit. But yeah, I did knew somebody in college who was sneaking some person up and down the hallway.
Oh my god!
In the middle of the night.
I'm so glad I never.
But the dude was like, "Hey, I lost a V car. I'm clapping."
I guess
like,
so,
hey.
man. I guess so. Hey, everybody gets desperate, man. I'm sure there's people on the opposite of the opposite sex that say the same thing. You know what I mean? The last thing we were going to talk about was this, and you're the tech guy. Let me let you introduce this topic.
So yeah, there's an AI company that they're getting ready to trial their first robot lawyer. This case involves a speeding ticket. It's a speeding ticket. And when I was reading the article, I was like, "There's no way this is legal." For one, there's no, and they address this in the article,
which
and
is not, yeah,
and it's not, and there's no way that the tech is. I just can't imagine tech being there. But I guess if you think about, for those who know about GPT-3, it's like this highly advanced, has like trillions and trillions of parameters, like AI bot. And they've had several iterations of it. But I'm like, there's no way it can be that advanced. But the way that they're doing it is they're allowed to, I guess apparently they're allowed to use Apple AirPods so the guy can represent himself, his or herself, and they can receive instructions from the AI on what to do. And the AI will be actively listening to what's going on in the room. But that has to be pretty fucking advanced for it to give it instructions on the fly.
Yeah, dude. How is it going to be able to hear, interpret? But then I thought about that. Was it DALL-E? Because I'm not the tech dude, but remember that Google guy who got fired?
DALL-E, yeah, the Google guy who got fired because he thought the AI was sentient. Yeah,
right. He was saying that he was having literal conversations where he would speak and they would respond, not like verbally respond, but so I can kind of see how it would work. Isn't that kind of the same?
It's kind of the same, and I think we just don't. I mean, when you look at how fast technology is advancing, I mean, just look at like 2022. The start of 2022 to the end when it comes to AI art. Did you see how fucking fast that advanced? We went from like
photorealistic now.
They look photorealistic now. We went and now we're getting 3D. They're doing 3D models for it and 3D renders of it.
We've already been seeing deep fakes and stuff like that. That was a few years back.
We went from like fucked up looking faces and iterations of like certain images to like photorealistic apps coming out where they can give you 50 different iterations and all these different art styles of pictures of you.
That simulation theory shit is some real shit, yo. Right. I think about that quite often.
Or singularities. For those who don't know, Ray Kurzweil, he's a futurist. I'm pretty sure he invented the keyboard, electric keyboard. I think he invented text. I think he invented text to speech. I think he was like a head at Google.
Oh, man was a genius.
Yeah. He's a futurist. Yeah, he's a futurist. And he has a theory called singularity theory. He's written a couple books about it. But his summation is that. You're looking at Moore's law. So like I think it's every 18 months. But like when you look at the computer chip that has the highest amount of transistors, it doubles every 12 to 18 months. Mm-hmm. So when over time, that's exponential computing power.
Exactly.
It gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster.
So that curve is
his theory is that like we're gonna have a run of once it goes straight, that exponential curve, it goes straight up. We're eventually gonna get to a point where it's like the technology is advancing so quickly that we can't keep track of it. And it's already happening now. Right. But it's like you go to sleep and wake up, and we have 10,000 years worth of breakthroughs. We have more. Yes. We have discovered more in that 8-hour period of you going to sleep than of all in human history, and it'll be like we're
just evolving as computers do. That's almost exactly how it's going to be. But people have surmised that. I stole your word. That's a nice word, surmised. But people have theorized that like human beings, because we already kind of see it, where we are just starting to place our consciousness in the hands, or not in the hands, but we're placing our consciousness, almost downloading it, uploading it to digital devices. So at that point where we reach singularity, we're probably going to be not even like, we might have physical bodies or whatever, but we're not even going to be talking to each other. Like
it's going to be all like tech telepathy, because like he has like, I'm telling you, bro, he has like, I have one of his books, but he has like, they're like predictions, and his predictions, I think they're like lowered now, but he's like 60 or 7% right over the last 20 years on like all his tech predictions.
And they've been making that prediction
good.
They've been bringing that prediction of where we reached that singularity, that year mark. They've been bringing that down for like, I don't know how many years now.
Oh, it's going down. They've been bringing it down.
I heard the last one I heard was 2030,
like 2030, 2040. It's like 2030 to 2040. 2029 is when they think artificial general intelligence. So that's like an AI that you don't like. Narrow intelligence is like, all right, I want an AI that's really good at picking up a mouse or like picking up objects. So you give him like all this
robots.
General, like what you think of like what people and you see on TV, like robot. Like it's generally like we are general intelligence. Like he's like intelligent enough. He's like, hey man, I want you to pick this up, and he'll pick it up and he'll start learning it, and he'll start. Oh, this is the physics of it. Hey man, I want you to like adapts. Like it's generally intelligent. You could just tell it to like, I want you to figure this out. Here's some training. It's like, oh, cool. I got it. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Oh, let me do this. And then after like a year, the dude is just
wild,
like,
bro.
Yeah.
Them Roombas gonna be walking around looking like, fuck, like what the hell is this machine?
Yeah, man. I mean, like, don't get like the tech is getting like if the AI art shit didn't convince you about the singularity theory, I don't know what else is. It was scary. That quick.
And I genuinely believe in that simulation theory, bro. We are in a fucking simulation.
And I think Gen Z is going to be one of the last generations to die. If not, I think we're going to, if you want to and you can afford it, you're going to be able to live as long as you want, barring
at
an
a certain point.
Catastrophe.
At a certain point, bro.
It is going to happen. It's here.
Fuck, bro. Technology.
Well, would you want to live that
deep
long?
cuts?
Well, last question.
What? Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
How if you live in a world where it's like and you could afford it and you had the money and you could live as long as you want, would you want it? I feel like at a certain point it'd be cursed to be immortal.
I think I would take it as long as there's some type of like fail safe red button that I can push that will just like let me rest when I want to rest. I think like an off button, like an off switch. What about you?
Yeah, if there was like. If we got to a point in society, I think there's certain countries, I don't know what they are right now, but there are certain countries that allow medical, I think it's medical euthanasia, I think that's what it is, where you can, if you wanted, you're ready to die, you can die. If we live in a society like that, it would have to be legalized because we're thinking about the legal ramifications of certain technology.
Yeah,
medical
it couldn't be considered suicide
and euthanasia would have to be, if you were like 100, 300 years old and he's like, all right, I'm done, guys. You should be able to go to the doctor's office, fill out some paperwork, fill out some fail safes, get in that bed, and just go and just die.
And just drift. Have your family around you.
Have your family around you. They inject you, and you just die. You should be allowed to do that.
I agree with that. But that shit is fucking scary. All righty. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Again, we want to thank you guys for keeping up with us, tuning in. You guys already know where you can find us next week, same place, same time, episode 39. Oh, that rhyme, bars. Ugh, I'm just nasty with it. All right, guys, we'll catch you guys later.
Take it easy, guys.